You've been reporting on wrestling news for eons, many moons, many moons. What has been like some of the biggest changes, like as we hop into like internet and as far as gathering your information and then reporting the information? Like, what has been some of the biggest changes, evolution over time?
Well, obviously the biggest change is you don't talk to people on the phone all the time so much. I mean, it happens, but a lot of people, it's a lot of text messaging. It's a lot of DMs. I think that's, as far as communicating with people, that's obviously the biggest difference. But, there have been so many changes in wrestling. And at the same time, it's like the more things change, the more they stay the same. Mm-hmm. I mean, I think the thing that is probably the biggest change is just the immediacy of, fans being allowed to voice their opinion. When I started, you could go on AOL or, they had Usenet, and, you could communicate with fans there. But in general, it was such a small percentage of the audience that was doing that. Whereas, nowadays there's the immediacy of Twitter and Reddit and message boards and really you say anything and everybody just comes out of the woodwork, and most of it's negative, of course. Right. And it certainly wasn't like that in the 90s. And I try to think of God, can you imagine if Twitter was around during the Monday Night Wars or the Montreal screw job?
Oh my God.
I mean, I'd probably be doing something else right now. But that's obviously social media is a major change. And I would say that, there's good things about social media. I use and everything like that. But, overall, I think it's, for most people, probably a pretty big negative because, a lot of people live and die by what are people saying about me? What are people writing about me? And, those people were much better off when, there was just an observer that came out once a week that they didn't have to read if they didn't want to. Now it's everybody is addicted to their phones. They're addicted to Twitter. They're constantly looking to see what people say about them. And, it's often not positive, no matter who you are. And so, I think that's been, for a lot of people personally, it's been a big negative. But, as far as being a wrestler or being a fan, I mean, it was interesting to watch the Collision show last night. And there was a moment where Chris Jericho came out and he was going to announce his partner. Or no, I'm sorry, it was Darby and Sting were going to announce their partner for the match with Chris Jericho and Sammy and Minoru Suzuki. And I think it actually was Darby. Darby goes, "This person has beaten you at the Tokyo Dome." And all of a sudden, all of these people in Toronto started chanting for Naito. And he'd never been. I mean, the only way you would know about that is if you went on the internet or if you watched New Japan on New Japan World. And this giant Naito chant broke out. And it was all of these fans have been watching New Japan. And I think obviously everybody that bought tickets, or the majority of them, knew that it was going to be a go-home show for Forbidden Door. So it attracted a certain kind of fan. But it's just amazing. If you're a fan nowadays, or if you're a wrestler, I mean, man, the old days, you had to, find somebody that was going to be able to get tapes from Japan, or you had to go to the local Japanese video store and see what they had that had been, aired 6 months ago that the tape is finally out for. It's man, you can watch all this stuff live. I mean, you can watch all of these indie shows. You can watch all of these pay-per-views. You can watch Stardom. You can watch New Japan. You can watch everything immediately. And it's not all that expensive, $9.99 a month or whatever to watch unlimited New Japan. So that's one thing about the business that's changed, and it's changed for the better. Everybody can watch everything from everywhere for virtually nothing. And that's a great thing.